Bang. Hi. I'm live. Oh, my hair looks like crap. I look like crap, but that's okay. Let's turn this on so it'll track me a little better. So, anyway, I'm out here in the garage. I got the outlet replaced. The heater still works. I had to replace the plug, but the heater works. The outlet has been replaced with some 20 gauge. You can kind of see the yellow cable, 20 gauge, or 12 gauge, sorry, 12 gauge cable, 20 amp rated. Look on the floor behind me here. Let me scoot back. There it is. You can see it right there. Yellow, 12-2. Proper rated cable with a 20 amp outlet on the 20 amp breaker. So, all good stuff. All good things. Properly done. So there you go. I got some parts I've been printing for my buddy. It's several pieces, but you've got a TPU gasket. You've got the housing. I ran out of the purple ASA and just used some green I had left over from making that guy right there. But then there's a TPU gasket. Just drops right in here. What's up, Da Vinci? Good to see you, man. Just kind of explaining what I'm doing to, well, you now, because you're here. But here's the little housing. Here's the back cover the electronics go on. A couple of screws to hold it together. And then you got some magnets. And then this sits right on the roof of the car. There's a solar panel that mounts here. And then you've got two little spacers that go on the other side to a magnet that space it out evenly so that it all works out. And then you can just stick this right on top of your car, feeds off the solar panel, and runs a Meshtastic node. So you can run a Meshtastic node on top of your automobile using this guy. And then there's a little antenna hole here where you stick an antenna out of, and then this can just ride on top of your car, feeding off of solar. And again, Meshtastic. My buddy's into, Meshtastic stuff. So he wanted some of these made up. I did them in, this one's in ASA, some green on the end, and then the dark purple or deep purple. And then this one is the Central 3D ABS plus green. So this one's all in that. So this is ABS, this one's ASA. It's going to Florida, so ABS, ASA, better for, sun and heat and all that good stuff. So hopefully these will last for him. If not, I can print him some more and send them down. But I did 2 of these in one variation. And then he asked me if I could print him. These are the version 21s. I can find the link, and if anybody's interested in Meshtastic stuff and wants to do something, I can find the link and send it to you. But so these are, for that. And then he asked me to print the version 21s. That's these. And then he asked me to print 2 of the version 22s, which have a Type N antenna connector on them. So I've got 2 of the plates, and I included 2 extra gaskets just in case. They're like a 10-minute print, 15-minute print. So I just printed 2 more of the TPU gaskets. They don't take very long. But then I've got 2 more of the plates here. So I just have to print 2 more of the external housings, and should be good to go. What am I working on? Not much. By the way, Jack and Built Overbot, good to see you guys as well. No, right now, not too much. I'm probably, my buddy did order a roll of the Central 3D Yellow ABS Plus. Has that coming to me on Monday. So I'm thinking I'll just wait till that gets here and I'll print the other 2 parts. And I've got all the gaskets and the covers and everything printed. I just need now the ABS, I guess. Polymate, what's up, Paul? Good to see you, man. Yes, I am still alive and kicking. For anybody who missed the last stream, I had the outlet that's right over here on the wall, right behind this little case right here. There's an outlet that I have surface mounted to the wall right here, and you can kind of see the yellow cable right there that goes up the wall. that I have my space heater plugged into right here, right there, that space heater. Um, well, that space heater and that outlet and that cable did not get along because it's a 20 amp breaker with a 14 gauge cable and it was a 15 amp plug. That didn't agree. So now it is a 12 gauge wire with a 20 amp plug connected to the 20 amp breaker. And the plug is not hot, warm. It is nice and cool. Everything is good all the way to the heater. So we are not overloading the outlet and going to potentially burn the garage down like we almost did. Plus, I have a metal box now with a metal faceplate instead of a plastic box with a plastic faceplate. So, metal box, metal plate, the outlet and the plug are the only two things that could potentially burn, but it is all good there. I actually have I bought a 250-foot roll of the Romex. It's sitting down there minus what I used already. I am actually thinking back where the printers are at back here. I'm going to pull off of I have several empty breakers, so I'm going to pull off of one of the other breakers, another outlet back, and then use that 20 amp for the couple of printers I have that anymore that I use. For anybody who missed it earlier on Jerry's stream, I did say that the Magneto is currently up on Facebook Marketplace. If you're local and you want, or local enough that you're willing to drive up here, because I am not delivering that. If you want it, you come get it. If you want the Magneto, it's on Marketplace, $850. But I'm willing to trade for stuff. Willing to trade for stuff. Like somebody could send me 2 or 3 of those right there, and I would happily let that go. So I figure 2 of them for sure would be fair, especially if you have to drive. So if you have 2 of those laying around and you wanted to bring them to me and then take that big bastard home, feel free. But at some point, Bob, I got to get with you anyway, because we got to set up something for me to come visit you. Maybe not, like, obviously not this weekend, because no. Next weekend I have my daughter again, and then the weekend after that I'm free. So like 2 weeks from now I could make a road trip, or you could maybe we could meet in the middle. I don't know if you're free. Hey, I understand, my man. That's why I figured maybe you and I 2 weeks from now we could meet maybe somewhere in the middle. I think somewhere in the middle is around the Champaign-Urbana area. I think it might be a little closer to the Bloomington area, which would be cool for me, but probably not. I think it's closer to the Champaign-Urbana area, might be the central point. If you want to know, if you want to figure it out, just look where Interstate 39 and Interstate 80 come together and just measure from there. Because that's I'm about 15 minutes south and west of there. So if you figure from where 80 and 39 come together and then figure out a halfway point, that's where we would have to meet. If you want to meet halfway, if you don't, maybe in 2 weeks I convince the missus that we take a road trip. We come down to your general area, find a nice place to stay for the night, and then drive back the next day. You know, Mom and I can take a road trip one day and meet up with you and hang out for a little bit, and then she and I can just adventure a little bit, But yeah, but no, I do know that if anybody wants a Magneto X, it's nice, but you guys know it's finicky. So if anybody wants one, I got a guy on Facebook that wants to trade a Voron 2.4, but it's like the Rev 1, so it's like the OG, but it's blown apart in pieces. And I did tell him, I'm like, look, man, I don't need any more projects. I have enough projects. Like, I'm looking for something that's pretty much working. Maybe I have to do some updates or something, but I'm looking for something that's working. I don't want any more projects. I'm not very motivated when it comes to projects these days, because there's enough stuff going on that when I come out here to hang out, I just want to hang out. And if I work on something, great. And if I don't, I don't. But I know it's fun to talk to you guys, and I miss you guys, and I told you I wanted to stream more. So, drama and things aside, here I am. I want to hang out. It's a Saturday night. I didn't see anybody else streaming, so I figured I was going to stream. And there's a couple of you here. If everybody could just at least, if you're just lurking, at least say hi so I can shout you out and say hello to you as well. You don't have to say anything. You can say hey lurking or whatever. Just nice to know who all's here. And I know there's a Da Vinci, a Jack, a Bob, and a Paul. Hey, and radioactive scale RC. What's up, Raz? I'm just going to shorten it to Raz. Raz. What's up, man? Could call you Rad, but then it makes me think of the movie. It was a good movie. It could be fun, Bob. It could be fun. Just let me know. Like, I'm always game to just hang out and chat if time permits it. Let's put it that way. If time permits it, I'm always happy to come hang out. Rover, what's going on, man? Haven't talked to you in forever. Glad you're here. See, it's fun to get your name shouted out on a stream, even if it is some jackass sitting here in his garage with his webcam, his microphone, and no set plan. It's still fun to hear your name, so feel free. But yeah, so like I said, I mean, I just know that right now I've got a second one of these coming. I did make a poor financial decision, and whoops, how you doing? See this thing on my forehead right here? It's annoying. What was wrong with the outlet? Rover, it was a 20 gauge or 20 amp breaker connected to a 14 gauge wire with a 15 amp plug. And I was running a space heater off of it. So things got toasty, and a fire that thankfully self-extinguished itself had ensued, burned itself out, and went away. Digital Dragon, good to see you, sir. Hope you're doing well. But it went away, and thankfully it didn't burn down my garage. It did melt a few things, but nothing burned down, thankfully. And good that the fire didn't spread. Yes, Builder, this is one of those times where I will have to say, having surface-mounted boxes and outlets is a good thing because it wasn't in the wall. Had that fire started with that outlet being in the wall, it would have scorched my plywood wall and probably caught it on fire, but because there was enough space between the outlet and where the fire was, it wasn't able to actually, hit the wall and catch the plywood on fire. So that was a good thing. However, like I said, a lesson was learned. And we now have a roll of 12 gauge Romex right down right there. The yellow Romex you see sitting on the floor. There's 12 gauge. There's one more 20 amp 20 amp outlet with another metal box and another metal faceplate that is going to go back on this wall back here by the printers. And I'm going to be plugging the printers directly into that outlet because I don't run a lot of printers, and they don't. I was looking at the math, and I should be able to, if I'm not running the Magneto, which again, Luke, if you're interested, there's a Magneto, let me know. It's on Marketplace. I do have a guy that is interested, and he asked that I give him some time to get a Voron 2.4 that he's got running. But realistically, good sir, I say this in the nicest way possible, if you were to send me 2 Centauri carbons, I would figure out how to get to you this big behemoth right here. Just throwing that out there. 2 Centauri carbons will get you Magneto X. Or, enough money to buy 2 Centauri carbons. I can get them for $339 shipped from Fabrico right now. They still have, I think there was 8 still in stock. And for everybody, let me go on record real quick as saying something, all right? AMS aside, and the promise of an AMS, I don't give a shit about that. I'm looking at the printer as it is, at the price tag that it's being offered at. And at the price tag it's being offered at, and the printer that it is worth every penny of that price tag. If an AMS comes for it, that's a bonus for me. For me, it may not be for you. It may have been a selling point for why anyone, this is not generally generalized at any one person, but as a group, if that was the main reason you bought it on a hope and a dream, because unless the AMS was there, you were hoping they'd bring an AMS to the table. They said they were going to bring an AMS to the table, but we all know how a lot of these companies are. Lots of false promises to hype it up, get the money, and then features just fizzle off. I personally have been saying from the beginning, AMS or not, don't care. Because for that price and for the performance, that machine is a hell of a machine. So for me, it doesn't matter. I don't care. To everybody else who's on the internet, screaming and yelling and butthurt about it, I get it. And I understand that. You were going based off of promises. Is it going to come? According to the email that Elegoo sent out, yeah, they're still working on it and they're trying to make it good before they get it out to the masses. Do I think they're really going to do that? I don't know. But again, for what that machine is, for what that machine does, I just printed some PLA, ABS, ASA, and TPU all on that machine in the last week and a half. And all of it has printed. I mean, I did run into an issue. You can see a pile of plastic right there. That was my bad. I was trying to do a filament swap without doing a filament swap. I was trying to push it up through. Well, I missed it and it got about 3 layers of air and I had to restart the print. That was a me issue. The other failed print was because I did not properly put the print on the build plate, and when it printed it, the supports weren't there and it just fell over and printed a big pile of spaghetti. And that was my fault. I knew I shouldn't have laid it the way or printed it the way I did. So, but here's ABS Plus, here's ASA and ABS, and here's some TPU. All printed on that machine, and they all printed quite well without any issue. So again, I can print all the materials I'm going to need to print on that machine for $339 shipped to my door. Thank you, Fabrico. Is this an ad or a placement? No, I'm telling you right now, if you want one and you don't want to go to Elegoo and pay the tax and the shipping, go to Fabrico. It's $339. The price on the website is the price I paid, $339 shipped. It's still sitting at Fabrico. You may have to wait a few days for it to get picked up and sent out, but $339. $350 if you want to, order it from Elegoo Direct. Pay the $350, the extra couple bucks, get it in a couple of days. But if you can wait, order it from Fabrico. That being said, though, let me get back to this. You 3D printed an outlet box for an extension cord, vacuum cord. Okay, Rover, nice. What's up, Captain Kern? By the way, I see you there, bud. Sorry. Your 4cc's work fine without color. Exactly, Digital Dragon, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I would rather have 6 of these without an AMS than 1 of them with an AMS, okay? That's all I'm saying. Like, it's a solid machine, and for the price, you cannot complain other than, oh, well, they said they were going to give me an AMS, and I don't see no AMS yet. And they said 3rd quarter, and we're in 4th quarter, and there's still no promise of an AMS other than an email they sent out. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But my thought is this. You were going to pay $300, $350 for the printer, another probably $200, $250 for an AMS. Get an A1. I know it's not an enclosed printer, but you can get an A1 with an AMS, or you can get an A1 mini with an AMS for the same price and have multicolor if it means that much to you. I'm just saying, figure out how you want to spend your money and what you're willing to spend your money on now versus later. And with the Open Centauri coming along, and it sounds like I am probably, now I mean by probably is I mean Thursday next week, I have the Micro Swiss Centauri Carbon Flowtech hot end coming. So Thursday next week, one of my Centauris is getting the Flowtech hot end installed. So thank you, Micro Swiss. But so we'll have 1 stock and 1 with the Flowtech hot end, and then we'll do some prints between them to make sure the prints are comparable. And then we'll play Rochambeau to figure out which one of the machines, the one with the Micro Swiss or the one with the stock hot end. We'll see which one gets Open Centauri installed on it. because this one came from Fabrico as a sponsored unit. I think I'm going to leave this one the Virgin machine and not mess with it. We'll leave it with the stock hot end. We'll leave it with the stock firmware. And then I think the one that I purchased from Fabrico will be the one that we will install the Flowtech hot end, and I'll also install Open Centauri on it because that'll be the one I spent money on. So that one I will be a little more, I'll be a little less worried about doing things to that one because I bought that one. So does that make sense? I think you guys get it. And also, I think the fact that I told you guys at some point I will make a poor financial decision and buy another one, and when I do, I will buy it from Fabrico, and I did. So, I mean, I told you I was going to do it, and I did it, and I told you I love the printer and that I want more, and I do. I still want more. I'm willing to trade a $1,000, $1,200 printer for 2 Centauri carbons to anyone who wants to send me 2 Centauri carbons. You will have to come get this. So if you're willing to take a road trip for no better reason than to come pick up a big ass printer, I will help you load it into your vehicle, but I will not help you unload it. So have hands available. It's 60 plus pounds of thick ass heavy like aluminum. It is a monster. You guys have witnessed me move that thing around by myself like a dumbass. But that was when it was mine and I wanted it. Now I want 2 Centauri carbons in its place. Because the Centauri carbons, 2 Centauri carbons use less power than that big bastard back there. That big bastard uses 1,000 watts of power when heating everything up. It makes my lights in here flicker. It's a girthy bitch, and it is very hungry when it's heating up. It's very hungry, but after that, it's not so bad. However, it is a bit of a finicky machine. You can get 3-4 great prints off of it, and then it just yells at you for however long. You turn it off, leave it alone for a little while, come back to it, turn it on, and it'll print just fine again. So tis a bit of a finicky one, but it is a nice machine. The only thing is I don't really print big enough stuff on it that I need to use it that often. Like I said, there is a gentleman. He lives about 2 hours away, has a older Voron 2.4, like a Rev 1 2.4. And I think he also has a Hallet, the Creality Hallet, whatever the hell it is, resin printer and some resin and a wash and cure station and all that fun stuff that he's willing to trade for it. I did explain to him that, again, I'm not looking for a project. And the 2.4, for those who missed it earlier, by the way, down under, good to see you. But for those who missed it earlier, the 2.4 that he has, being a Rev 1 and being in pieces, I said I'm not looking for a project printer. I have enough projects. I don't need more projects. It'll just be something that'll sit there and collect dust. I don't want something that's going to collect dust. I would prefer something that's working. He did say, give me a week to, get it put back together. And once it's put back together, I'll reach out to you. I said, that's great. I said, with the parts that you have, because he has these grand plans of upgrading to the lighter weight. It's a 350. I'll throw that out there. It is a 350. So kind of the Voron 2.4 I've been looking for, a 350. But he wants to go to the lighter weight gantry with the carbon fiber tubes instead of the aluminum extrusion. Me personally, on a printer that big, I kind of would rather have the aluminum extrusion. But that was his plans for it. He said he's going to work on getting it put together. He said give him about a week to get it put together. I said I'll give you a week, maybe 2. If I don't hear back from you, then I'm going to reach out to people again and start trying to kind of barter. I'd rather trade than sell myself. Let me see here. What do we got going on? Rumors have it both Index and the VVD pre-orders coming during or just after Formnext. Down under, I have not heard that myself. I know I did fill out to be a beta tester for the index, and I got told in my email that uh, they will review things, and if I'm selected, they'll get in touch with me. I have not heard back from them since. Big Tree Tech, I would love to check out the VVD. I have several printers, so I could, several. I have like 2 now that I normally use. But I would not argue with trying it. Let's see here, print an external filament holder that made the mod holder, or for the holder, 3 mil filament guide prevents backlash. Huh. I will have to check that. Oh, you won the Bamboo Labs A1 Mini. Going through 5 rolls of PLA so far. Nice. Yeah, the A1 Mini was a nice little printer. I do miss mine, but it was fun for the time that I had it. You know, something big homing today, homing today after the stream. We'll probably be pushing plastic on Monday. Nice, Digital Dragon, nice. What do we got here? Your dishwasher is the only project you want right now. I understand that, Built Over Bot. Scale of 0 to 10. How is Dan doing in himself? I mean, I can lie to you. You want me to lie to you? Let's just say it's a single digit number right now, which isn't hard to get because anything other than 10 is a single digit. Me personally, I'm probably on the lower side, lower half of the 0 to 10. I'm on the lower half right now, but I'm sucking it up, and I'm gonna have a stream with you guys. So, yeah. What is the VVD setup? That is basically an AMS provided by Big Tree Tech that's supposed to be more universal. It looks like an AMS unit, but it's from Big Tree Tech. So if you check it out, Built Over Bot, if you check it out, it's not a bad looking unit. I have seen it in person at Rocky Mountain the year that I went. I didn't go last year, so the year before. So they've been promising it for a while. But it is hopefully going to be out soon. I mean, that's the crazy part is like these things are taking time, and that's why people, I don't understand why people are, I know, steal it from Bamboo Labs, reverse engineer it, make your own. I get that. But at the same time, with it being Clipper and there being so many different variations out there, it's hard to make a universal unit that will connect to Clipper, all printers type things. So they've been working on that for quite a while. Oh, it's mods for the A1? Yeah. What time being strapped a lot at the moment? Just having a machine you can rely on. Super helpful right now. Polymate, man, I wish I had a way to get in touch with Elegoo to send you one of the Centauri carbons, man. As long as you can get past the AMS issue, I think you would actually enjoy the machine, and it prints everything, Full Clipper and almost universal if you have a cutter. Yes. You're hoping to see it at Form Next in a week. Digital Dragon, it would be nice. I would love to go to Form Next myself, but it's not in the budget. I don't have the time, Your Voron is on vacation off camera for a while. All right. If it was 0, it's okay. Trust me, brother. I'm struggling too, but you're hanging in there. Yeah. It's lower half of the 0 to 10. Life in general has just been kicking my ass. We'll do Paul. We'll do Paul. At some point, man, I'll hit you up. We'll chat and just kind of catch up on life. You're joining the Automate 3D. Yeah, that's right. I forgot because you've been pretty big on the Automate ejector. Yeah. If anybody hasn't been following Digital Dragon, go look. He's been working on building them and setting them up and playing around with the Automates there at Ecovate 3D. one of these days I'd like to get down there and check that place out. It seems like it'd be a pretty cool place to go visit. Ah, yes. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting caught up on a bunch of stuff. I was in the house for a little while and came back out to the garage and fired up a stream, and now I got to get caught up on some things. But yeah, I mean, I would love, not gonna lie, I would love to be able to go to, Form Next, but it's just not in the cards. Yep, if they support your trip, it's worth it. Speaking of supporting, if you guys want to, links are down there for the Linktree, or in the Linktree for the PayPal Cash App Venmo. Feel free to do that. Become a member if you want. I've been losing members because I haven't been streaming. So yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Trust me, down under, I get it, man. It like realistically, what it just boils down to is like this time of year is just hard for everyone. Um, a lot of people suffer from seasonal depression. It wasn't really something that I think really ever affected me until probably the last few years, and it's more of a this time of year for me, it's the financial woes that keep kicking my ass. And, Christmas is coming every year, and every year my kids have gotten older and we've had to give them less and less because we don't have it to give them. I mean, uh, again, the thing you guys got to remember is, like I said, when my dad passed last December, I got $500 in the will. So that $500 went to pay, I think it was my power bill. I went on my power bill. So I lost that 500 bucks right away, paid the power bill, no more $500. Then I think it was the power bill. I can't remember which bill I paid now. I've done so much crap lately. My brain is fried. But then, or it might have been the car insurance. One or the other. I either paid car insurance or I paid the power bill, one or the other. And then, no, I did pay. I think I paid on something. I think it might have been car insurance, power bill, something. I paid a bill. That's all I can remember. I paid a bill. Because then I know with the bigger check, my sister gifted me $10,000 out of my dad, like the money she got, because my sister got everything. Um, she got like six figures, everything. And so she gave me and my brothers each $10,000. Thankfully, in the state of Illinois, gifts are gifts. You don't have to worry about it. Federal government, I think it's like 15,000 or $14,999.99 or something like that. So federal government doesn't care. $10,000. Thank you very much, little sister. I took the $10,000. I bought my wife a car, $4,700 right there. Paid my property taxes, $2,200 right there. And then I had to pay, no, I paid, that's when I paid the power bill. That was another $1,000. It was like 800 and some change, so $900. It basically worked out that I had 20 bucks left in my pocket after I paid a bunch of bills. I bought my wife a car. I was going to buy myself a car. That didn't work out. Well, then payday came, and I figured since I spoiled my wife with a car, I'm making a poor financial decision, and I bought a second one of those with payday. And then I paid my mortgage, and car insurance is a monthly thing, so paid the car insurance again. Garbage bill is $90, so paid the garbage bill. The water bill, 60 bucks, pay the water bill. I've got $2 left in my pocket. So there's always more money going out than coming in. Granted, I probably could have not spent the $339, but sometimes you just got to do something for yourself. So that's what I did. I did something for myself. Steven, what's going on, Sly Dog? How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Still need to look at a more reliable automobile for myself. And I mean, we will someday, sometime, somehow. I'll get a reliable vehicle for myself to get back and forth to work with. Preferably something 4-cylinder, manual 5-speed, because I want a manual 5-speed, 6-speed. But something small, 4-cylinder, good on gas. That's what I'm hoping for. Sly Dog, thank you very much, man. You are correct. Every little bit does help. Thank you. Let me give you a little heart there, and we'll also throw a like on that. Thank you very much, my man. $20. All right. So, but now things have just been kicking my ass. Oh, and then I got to tell you guys something. All right. I don't know if it RP Lumber. I don't know how far RP Lumber spreads across the U.S. But I was looking on Menards. Stop that. I got to turn off hand gestures at some point because my Dago, like my Dago-ness comes out, and then I talk with my hands a lot. But like I looked at Menards, I looked at Home Depot for all the stuff I bought from RP Lumber. So again, Romex, 250 foot of 12 gauge cable, 220 amp outlets, 2 metal boxes, 2 face plates, even a bag of cable staples just to staple everything to the wall so that it doesn't droop and hang and get in the way, because got to make sure it stays secure. All of that stuff. The cable alone at Menards and Home Depot was over $300. From RP Lumber, I got all of that for $171. So, yeah. If you have an RP Lumber nearby, consider checking them out. A lot of times their prices are way better than the big box. I don't know where RP Lumber, like I said, I don't know how our RP Lumber spreads, but if you got an RP Lumber nearby, check them out first. Definitely worked out in my favor. Well, Built Over Bought, consider giving them a look, man. I was on their website. I was at work. There's an RP Lumber in the town of Streator. I was on their website that morning after this happened. I was at work and I was surfing their site just to see. I'm like, there's an RP Lumber here in town. Let me just see what the prices are. And again, when I got everything for about $130, $140 less than the cable alone. Yeah, because Menards does that wonderful thing. Oh, you can get it for $286. That's $286 with the 11% rebate that you have to fill out the form for and send in. This was $171 in the store. So there's one about 25 miles from you. It's like 60 miles to anything else. Yeah, dude, check out RP Lumber and just see, man. I know from now on when I'm going to be doing like stuff out here in the garage, because that has kind of motivated me to, like I said, I'm going to run another outlet behind the printers there and have a dedicated breaker for the printers to run off of, so that they're not running off the same outlets as everything else in here, minus that one. But I'm gonna run another line over and hook up an outlet there, so the printers are on their own dedicated circuit. Then the rest of the office will be on its own, so that this way, whenever I have big printers like the Magneto back there, which hopefully will be leaving soon, firing up, powering up, and heating up the bed, my lights won't flicker in here anymore because they won't be on the same breaker. So you just ran a line to build an electronics bench. Nice. Yeah. So, but that's the hope. I'll put another 20 amp in over there for that. And then the printers, because I'm going to have the Centauri Carbon, and I'm going to have the second one. Does anybody want I haven't touched it. It hasn't been used. I gave it to someone. They gave it back to me. Does anybody want a Focus Odin 5? You're going to have to cover how to ship it to you. I don't know how I would get it to you, but you're going to have to cover the shipping. If you want to kick me some extra for being a great guy, feel free. But if anybody wants it, I want it out of my garage. This printer back here, I got to get working on at some point too. That's the BQBX, the BQBX that I got, that we got to do something with, you know. Gotta go, family stuff. All right, Bob, have a good one, sir. Lost power last night at 2:30. Didn't get it back until 11:30. Messed up a few prints. That sucks. Sly Dog dude. Oh, Steven, that sucks, man. It really does. I know kind of how that feels. I do have that giant battery backup right there is set up for the bottom row of printers. But I do plan, since I'm going to have the Centauri carbons up top, up here, I am planning on relocating this guy, or at least running cables down and powering a couple of printers off of that big guy, because might as well, right? That way I have less of an issue, because once they're up and running and heated, it shouldn't be too much of a power draw. I should be able to get a little bit of time if something ever happens, or at least be able to come out and like pause or stop a print. Got a power blip this morning, lost a 24-hour print about 14 hours in, and half a kilo of filament. Oh, damn, dude. That's a hucks. Time to invest in some power stations. Yes, Rover, yes. I would like to get individual, like, an individual one for each printer. I think it'd be nice to have one per printer, so that this way you can get a bit longer life out of them, to hopefully keep the printers running for some time. But that big one I got down there, I got for free. I actually got a second one, but the batteries were stuck in it. They had swollen and got stuck in there, and it was one of those pain in the ass things to try and get them out of there without damaging the metal frame. I think the other one is still sitting out in the garage. Maybe one of these days I'll see if there's a way I can get those out of there without damaging the frame, like actually dig into it and see. And then if so, I'll try to see if I can find some batteries to put in it. And then maybe I'll have one up top for the printers up there and one down here for whatever goes down here. Because as of right now, on the top will be both of the Centauri carbons. The little Rook, I've got to get working on that a little bit. But I'll have probably both Centauri carbons there. And then this guy right here is probably going to go down on the bottom shelf. That frame is a Voron 2.4 250, but it's like 250, 250, 280, maybe it's a 300. Maybe it was a 300, 285. For some reason, it was a little shorter. It was like cut short or something. But probably gonna start going through a lot of the miscellaneous out here and Facebook marketplacing just bundles of miscellaneous stuff to kind of clear this out a little bit. I am hoping after the new year, the lovely song that got sent to me from anonymously on Discord was pretty funny, about how I make a lot of hopes and dreams and talk about these great things I plan to do someday. Maybe one day I'll finish them, kind of a thing. It was fun to hear that, because I say it a lot, but it's all boils down to finances, guys. And when I don't have the finances, I can't do the stuff. It's hopes and dreams. And maybe one day I'll have, a significant amount of money and I can finish out the garage and, do that stuff. Maybe if I started being smart about it, I'd start mentioning around to people that if they have some extra lumber laying around, some 2x4s and, stuff, that if they have it laying around, let me know and I'll come collect it. And then I can start just building stuff out a little bit. Might be a smart thing to do. I might be able to get some free 2x4s and start working on building out the garage. First thing I do is clean out the garage so I have room to work. And then once I can get it framed up and walled off out there, frame it up in a way that I've got a full-size man door and a window hole so I can put a window in. And then we can just put a couple sheets up over the wall, plywood sheets of some sort, preferably something weather resistant, and then at least have it framed up and ready to go. And then down the road someday, maybe I find a door and find a window and we put those in. That'd be cool. And then I can finish kind of framing off the rest of the way up to the front of the garage there, take the garage door down that's no longer going to be necessary. And then one day we just move everything forward, you know. Maybe maybe Mr. Cool will sponsor me and send me a mini split to put out here. Because if I do the full 25-foot long by 9 foot wide, yeah. If I do the 9 foot wide by the 25-ish feet long or deep that this would be, I think one of the like even the smaller, I think it's 9,000 BTU units should be enough to, you know, heat this place. Ryan Sharp, what's going on, man? How you been? Haven't had you out to the woodshed in a while, so good to see you, man. The unit's been working pretty good. However, we've had issues with that company. They really are kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. They really like to mess up their billing. Watching T-Mobile ad this evening. Nice. Oh, walking T-Mobile ad this evening. Yeah. No. It's this pretty pink shirt. I figure I'm only going to get to wear it once or twice, and then my daughters are going to steal it. So, yeah, so I figured I'd wear it. I was wearing my hoodie back there earlier, but then it's nice and toasty in here now that my outlet is fixed and my heater is able to run. So it's nice and toasty in here. Toasty in a good way, not in a outlet burning, almost burning my garage down kind of way, like a week ago. So, yeah, we're doing better. We're doing better. But, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's just been living life and, you know, having fun or trying to, you know, or at least pretending to have fun. I've just been hanging out. Like I was telling everybody earlier, I've been printing some parts for a buddy of mine down in Florida. He's into, you know, mesh-tastic stuff. So he wants these little housings, and then there's a solar panel that connects here. And then you've got 2 magnets that connect underneath here. And then they'll sit on your roof. And then there's 2 more spacers and magnets you would connect to the other side. And then you can stick the whole unit on your roof. Runs off the solar panel. Little antenna hole here. And then he can run a mesh-tastic node off the top of his car while he's out driving around. So he wanted these. Printed them in some. This is ASA. Ran out of the dark purple or the deep purple, so I add a little green to the end because that's what I had, because it's what's left over from this guy. So I did some galaxy green and some deep purple ESA here, and then the rest of this stuff is all printed in the Central 3D ABS Plus. This is the green, and then there's some little TPU. There's some TPU gaskets in there to help. So, but like I said, if anybody's into mesh-tastic and was interested in what this is, I can drop the link. Just let me know and I'll drop the link. Nobody said they were interested earlier, so I didn't drop the link earlier. But if anybody is interested, I will drop the link. Just let me know. But I printed him a couple extra TPU gaskets, because TPU gaskets, I don't know how well they'll hold up. So I made a couple extras and threw them in the box for him. What's that bed slinger behind you on the right? This one. That is the BQBX. It is a very old, in 3D printing years, that's a very old 3D printer. Isn't it amazing? I stick my hands out and it zooms right in. It's not catching it. Go back. You understand why the guys do the UPS when they aren't good for longevity. Test firewall similarly provides full circuit house, slow battery, it lasts 10 years. Yeah. Mitch, what's up, Mitch? Hey, Mitch, you know anybody who, you know, here's a thought too. I might as well throw this out there. Mitch, you know anybody who's interested in trading a Prusa Core 1 for a Magneto X? You know anybody who might be interested in a Magneto X that has a Prusa Core 1 they want to trade straight up? I didn't think so. I just, you know, I just figured I'd ask a silly question. How about a Mark IV? Mark 4S? Know anybody? No. No, I know, Mitch. I was just being silly. I was just being silly, man. No, I got a guy who wants to trade me a Voron 2.4, like a Rev 1, like an OG 2.4, but it is in pieces. And I told him I don't need projects. I told him I'd give him a week. So he's going to work on getting it put back together, up and running and printing. And then we are going to talk about the possibility of trading because I don't mind the Magneto, but realistically, for as finicky as the Magnetos are and um, as big as it is, I don't really use it. So yeah, the 2.4, I can always upgrade that from time to time as I see fit to get it closer to the latest and greatest revision of the 2.4. That's the nice part about it. The Magneto, you're kind of stuck with it as it is. There's little bits you can do, but not a lot. So, but this guy says he's already got 2 Magnetos and he likes them and he knows what to do with them. So if that be the case, I will be more than happy to make the barter with him. If not, I have made it publicly known that send me 2 Centauri carbons because I can get 2 Centauri carbons and you can get a better deal because that's worth $8,000-$9,000. 2 Centauri carbons will run you about $650 to $700. So you'll come out ahead. But there is another stipulation. Come get it because I ain't shipping it and I ain't bringing it to you. So, and this guy's willing to come get it. So if the Voron 2.4 and he includes the resin printer, it's a Creality Hallet 14K. So I'm not really a big resin guy, you know that, but did you pull a beefier circuit to your studio for powering the printers? There is a 20 amp service that runs the outlets in my office. I am going to be running a dedicated 20 amp back there for the printers, but realistically the printers, you can run, average printer, you can run probably, like the Centauri Carbon for instance, this one right here, I could probably run safely 4, maybe 5, and pushing it at 6 on a 20 amp because of the power draw. Just bear in mind, I said safely run 4. And so I'm probably only going to have, there's one outlet back there already that's running with all of this right now, minus that one outlet that's right there that's running that space heater currently. But then I'll have another 20 amp over there that'll be running probably 4 to 6 printers. Yeah. So it'll be a full-blown dedicated circuit directly to those. I've got the Romex sitting on the floor behind me. It might be a tomorrow project where I do that. And by probably, I mean most likely going to be a tomorrow project. Probably get up in the morning, go get coffee and a fountain pop for my wife, and then come out here and start stringing Romex from the box over on the other corner of my garage around, and then under the staircase here. That's a staircase if anybody doesn't know. Here, let me do this. Ready? See, look, there's a staircase. It goes to the attic space of my garage. A lot of people keep telling me that I should just take over the attic, but no, that's real hot up there in the summer, and it's not insulated. So I'd have to insulate and then I could put in a window in the front and in the rear of the garage. There's actually already holes there where they paneled over it. All I'd have to do is cut them out, install the little trim around for the siding, and then drop some windows in. I could in theory put a window in the front, a window in the rear, and then when it's nice, open the windows, let air blow through. But it's a very low sloped ceiling. Like when I stand, I can only stand in the center of the room. Otherwise it slopes down at such a steep pitch to the sides that there really wouldn't be much room for me. I would only be able to walk probably 3 feet total down the center without banging my head. sorry, got to respond to mama. But yeah, there's let's see here. Hold on. What am I looking at? I got to get caught up on something. Hold on. Only reason that we installed 90 kilowatt battery, waiting for our current solar system, 450 watt panel, new battery array, all at once. Nice, down under maker. Great, meanwhile, 160 kilowatt storage. Nice. That would be nice. I'm not gonna lie. See, my big thing is, and I know a lot of you guys see it, so I'll kind of explain some stuff. The people who come knock on your door and talk about putting solar on your home and how there's like little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. Bear in mind that those solar panels on your roof, you don't own. The company owns them. The company owns them. The company gets all of the federal subsidies that get, or kickbacks and things like that, all go to that company that put those panels on your roof, not to you. So that company gets a huge kickback from the government for putting solar panels up all over the place. You're basically a giant solar farm. You're joining into being a giant solar farm. In most cases, you have to pay more for insurance. They don't, even though it's their solar panels. You do, because you put them on your home. So your insurance, your homeowner's insurance will go up because of the solar panels, because of the potential for fire, plus the damage it causes to the roof over time because you're putting holes in your roof. So there's a lot of more expense there than they lead on. And then the discounts that you get on power, you don't get. Any power that you put back into the grid goes back in their pocket, not yours. And they're actually selling you the power back at a rate comparable to or a little bit cheaper than what you're currently paying. So this company gets the kickbacks. This company doesn't have to insure your home. This company doesn't have to insure their equipment. This company doesn't have to do anything because it's on your property, and you sign a paper that says you are basically joining their solar farm and you're taking all the responsibility and the risk. And you have to deal with the homeowner's insurance uptick because, again, you put solar panels on your house. That adds to your structural, the structure. The trick is to go independent. You are correct, down under maker. That is why I tell everyone, if you are considering going solar, try to figure out a way for you to do it yourself. Even if that means refinancing a home loan or taking out some kind of a home equity loan if you can, or whatever. Buy the solar panels yourself, pay that money back into the bank over time and cover it that way, because you're still going to have to pay all the other stuff anyway. So if you want to go solar, know all the costs, know these companies knocking on your door are basically telling you just enough to get you hooked, but not everything. And when I've confronted every single guy that's come to my house, they say, oh, they never told us that. Oh, they never told us that. I'm like, yeah, well, that's why I do my homework, because I'm not going to have some guy come knock on my door and then I'm going to put, 20 grand worth of solar panels on my house. And then I have to pay another $100, $200 a month because the solar panels are on my roof. And then on top of it, due to the age of my roof, in order for them to put solar panels on my house, I have to put a new roof on my house first, because my house is at the 20 to 25 years of the 30 years the roof is at, which means the solar panels, they don't want to put them on a roof that's nearing end of life and going to have to be replaced. Because then that means the solar panels go up, the solar panels come down, the solar panels have to go back up. And then that's just more money out of their pocket, because while the solar panels are off, they're not making any money off of you. Yeah. So like I said, I mean, I'm not against solar. If you have the funds and the means to go solar independently on your own, do it. If you have the ability to also install, like my parents bought into that, and my parents are like, well, we save $50 a month from what we were paying. You do. But there's a lot more going on. And they actually held out long enough that they actually got 2 solar walls. They got 2 Tesla solar walls, solar, whatever the hell they call them, solar wall. Well, they got 2 of those installed as well. So on the back of their home, there's 2 Tesla Powerwall, not solar wall, Powerwall. There's 2 Tesla Powerwalls now on the back of their house. They put panels on the northern facing roof, which makes absolutely no sense to me, but they put solar panels on a northern facing roof. Those panels rarely ever produce, but the solar panels across the entire garage and living room space, because my parents have a 1.5 car attached garage. It's a tri-level home. So across one whole section, they've got solar panels, which is producing enough power to put back into the, it goes back into the grid during the day after the batteries are charged. I think I'm allergic to pine, and I'm sure there's pine in this. That's what I've been noticing. Every time I'm out here and I have my elbows resting on the bench here, my arms break out lately, guys. So I think there's some kind of an allergy to this wood. So yeah. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So like my parents bought into that. They saved $50 a month compared to what they were paying. And that's great, but the company got all the kickbacks. So my parents have to pay an uptick in their homeowner's insurance, which is less, or is more than the $50 they save on power. It wasn't worth it, but they're happy. So I'm just going to shut up, bite my tongue, because I told them repeatedly prior to them agreeing to this not to do it. And if they wanted to do it, to take out an equity loan on the house and put up the panels themselves. It's cheaper to pay an electrician to come out and wire everything up. You know, we could put the panels on the damn house. They could pay somebody to put the panels on the house at that point. You know, they could have paid it out of the pocket and been better off, because at least this way, when they're paying back or putting it back into the grid, they're getting that on their bill. So during the day when the power wall's charged and they're not using many lights and all that stuff, it's just basically pumping straight into the grid, making them money, because it's just the two of them at home. You've got one computer and one TV upstairs, one computer and one TV downstairs, and then, you know, maybe the furnace or the air conditioner, a refrigerator, occasionally a dishwasher, occasionally a washer and dryer. The dryer's gas anyway, so, you know, during the day, they'd be putting a lot more back into the grid than they're pulling off the grid. They'd be making more money back, getting paid from the power company, selling back the power they're not using. That in the evenings, it would probably offset to the point where after the power walls were depleted, which 2 power walls probably would last them all night long, and probably still have at least 50% in the 2, because they could probably get away with 1, but because of the size of the house, they went 2. So even still, they probably would have 50% of their power wall depleted in the morning when the sun comes up. By probably mid-afternoon, the power walls would be charged back up, and then the rest of the day, they're just putting it back into the grid, you know? Not to take the state rebates, so you don't have to be a part of the solar farm scheme. Exactly. But that's why every time somebody comes to the house, the first thing I tell them anymore, so I can avoid having these conversations, is my roof isn't up to code, or my roof isn't up to spec for your solar panels. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, my roof's 20 plus years old. It's got, you know, 5 to 10 years before I have to replace it. So they're like, yeah, we can't do it on a roof that old. I'm like, exactly. So have a nice day. Or the one guy told me, oh, we can get you in touch with someone that can put a new roof on the house for you. I'm like, so I'd have to pay 15 to 20 grand to put a new roof on my house, and then you guys would for free put solar panels on my house, but I then have to lock into a contract with you and then pay you for my power usage? Yeah, no, not interested. First off, you guys know me. I don't have 15 to 20 grand to put a new roof on my house right now. I've got about, I do have about 40 grand worth of equity in my house right now from purchasing it when I did, in the, you know, housing market going up as well as it did. I bought my house for about half of what I could buy it for now when I bought it in 2013. So there's that. Yeah, you deliver directly to the grid and you get a smaller bill, but you still go down the power outage. You still go down power outages. Yep. Not a good trade-off for really anyone, Digital Dragon. If you can't do a power wall when you do your install and be able to store and keep some of your solar power, then to me it's not a good option, you know? Like, you should be able to store enough power to run your home for at least 8 hours. That's my opinion. Like, you should be able to store for at least 8 hours, because within 8 hours, you should have some other contingency plans in place if you know you're going to be out longer than that. You know, gas generator, natural gas generator, something, you know. Uh, I personally would love, if money wasn't an object, I would do my own solar. I would not my own. I wouldn't do it myself. I would have my own solar, though. I would install solar myself, not go through one of these companies. I would install probably 2 to 3 of the power walls. Way overkill for what I have, but I'd rather have that storage available. And then I would also look at getting like one of those Generac generators, natural gas generators as well. So that this way it would be set up in a way that when solar was available, it was charging the batteries and then pushing back into the grid. So I can get, you know, that going. I'd still want to stay connected to the grid, but I'd want to be as like independent from the grid as possible. But I would have the solar panels on the house, 3 power walls, and the Generac generator, so that in a situation where we're without power for, you know, several days, I can first run solar, run the Generac to help kick the power walls back up during the day, or during downtime, I can always kick the power walls back up. And then I wouldn't have to run off of the, I can run solar when I can run off the power wall, and I can use the generator to power the house and then charge the batteries back up if solar can't get them there all the way. And then once the batteries are back to, you know, fully charged, we can kill the generator for a little while, run off the batteries, and just kind of keep that flip-flop going until we're back with, you know, whatever service from the street needs to be. But ideally, I wouldn't want to have the generator kick on until, like, if it's evening time, we'll say we're in evening, so the panels aren't kicking anything out, the power walls are depleted. Now we can kick over to the generator and still have power in the case that the grid is down. Not like when the grid is up, generator stays off, power keeps doing its thing, you know. How would that work? I don't exactly know, because I don't know how you would hook up a natural gas generator, a power wall, solar, and have grid tie. I don't know how you would do that, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I'm sure someone knows how to do it, or someone could figure it out, and that would be ideal. Know what I know? Like, does anybody think that's a bit overkill? Because I think that would be ideal. And that's one of those, if money wasn't an object kind of a thing, I would make all of that happen. I'd have all of that. Hassle of selling your home while part of the scheme. Yeah, exactly. That is another big pain in the ass. Part of it is, if you sell your home while you're still part of that, then the other person buying the home has to basically take your spot in that contract. They have to take over your portion of that contract. And if that person doesn't want to, then you have to pay out of your own pocket to take those panels off your house, and then you have to buy out the remainder of your contract with those companies. Thank you for bringing that up, Down Undermaker. Yes. It's amazing how like sticky that situation can get. So I actually know of someone who had that similar problem. They bought a house that had solar panels on it, and the person that had put the panels on had just put the panels on the year before they sold the house. And the person buying the house didn't want to be a part of that. And they were like, well, you have to. They're on your house that you're buying. And the person said, I don't want to be. So the company said, you have to pay to remove the panels, and you have to buy out the remainder of your contract with us, because you signed the contract saying that you would be under contract for this amount of time, and those panels would be yours to pay for. Or not necessarily yours to pay for, but they would be your responsibility, even though this company installed them and got all the kickbacks for it. The one guy that came to the house was so diehard to get me to sign that he said, oh no, we cover our panels 100%. If they do anything to your home, we will replace your home. I said, so if your panels burn down my house, because of faulty wiring that is proven by my insurance to be faulty, or by an inspector is proven that your panels caused damage to my home, your company will pay for the replacement of my house and it won't come off my homeowners? He goes, oh no, that's what your homeowner's insurance would do. Your homeowner's insurance would cover the replacement of your home. So then what exactly do you cover? Because if your panels are going to cause a fire to my home and my homeowner's insurance has to pay for it, I'm going to lose my homeowner's insurance because they had to pay out for this. So where's the win-win for me if my homeowner's insurance is going to go up and my homeowner's insurance is going to drop me because your panels burned down my house and your company is going to tell me, sorry, have a nice day? How are you going to tell me that your company is going to cover that, and then in the same breath, when I explain it to you, you tell me, no, we don't cover that? You can't do that. You can't be that fucking shady. You know, it's very simple. The only thing they want to do is put panels on your home and make you part of their grid or part of their farm. So when these people come knocking at your door, ask them those questions. Ask them, does your insurance cover everything? If your panels burn down my house, will you build me a new house? If they say no, then you know they're at least being truthful that they're not going to do it. If you still feel comfortable and you want to do it, it's on you, but I ain't doing it. If they tell you yes, give them that little example of, okay, so the house burns down, they find out that your panels were at fault for it in some way, faulty electrical or something, and that's what caused the damage. Or, you know, a better one, my roof starts leaking after your panels are installed and I've got all this water damage in my home. Are you guys going to pay to have someone come out and repair my roof? That's what your homeowner's insurance is for, sir. If that's what my homeowner's insurance is for, and my homeowner's insurance went up to give you guys another home to add to your print or your solar farm, then what exactly am I getting from you? Because the small increase in my homeowner's insurance is still more than what I'm currently paying for grid power. So explain to me that. Explain to me why I can just keep buying my grid power from the power company and still pay less than what the difference will be on my homeowner's insurance, and you're still not going to cover anything if there's a problem. It still has to come off of my homeowner's insurance, and with putting more holes in my roof, I'm more likely to have problems with my roof in a much shorter period of time. So I may put a 30-year roof on my home, and because I have additional holes put in my roof, I may have a roof that's supposed to last me 30 years, but may only last me 10. And then in the last 10 years, now I've got roof leaks, I've got other problems. Now I'm calling my homeowner's insurance, and my homeowner's insurance is telling me that they'll put a new roof on the house, but the solar panels have to come down. And now because I'm still under contract with the solar company, once those panels come off my roof, I'm still stuck having to pay to get out of the contract. Or if I put the panels back on there, what is the homeowner's insurance going to say? They're probably going to drop you. Homeowner's insurance does not mess around anymore. Like, you have one claim, you're getting new homeowner's insurance. That's the worst part about insurance right now is their ability to cancel your policy at any time for any reason that they see fit, regardless of if anything happened or not. That's what happened to me in my lovely house here. I think I've told the story many a times, but in the end, I did not receive a bill like they said they did. Or here, it's weird, right there. I did not receive a bill. I received a cancellation notice. So we had to go scramble. And the best part was I did not get the cancellation notice until we were already 30 days. 30 days. Your homeowners, when you go to look for new homeowners insurance, if your policy is canceled, you need to find new insurance within 30 days. I did not receive that letter until outside of, oh no, it was 23 days. It was at 23 days. I had 7 days to find homeowners insurance, or I was going to be in that 30 or outside that 30-day window. And I went from paying $1,300 or $1,400 a year for my homeowner's insurance to now paying $3,600 a year. So I almost tripled my homeowner's insurance because I needed to find a policy, and because we were in default. A lot of the good companies that would have probably, charged us less didn't want to touch us. So you basically pay to let the electric company lease your roof. By the time the panels are paid off, they need to be replaced, and their efficiency is gone or gets less over time. You are correct, Digital Dragon. You are correct. So in the end, what it boils down to is this, guys. If you're going to take part in one of those solar farms that come along and want to use your roof, be well informed, all right? The stuff they don't tell you is the stuff you need to look for the answers for. You installed premium panels when you did it, and people said that we were mad, but 12 years later, and they're still producing 80 or 94 to 96% efficiency. Yeah, dude, that's another thing. Don't skimp. Like, get the premium panels. They're going to last you quite a bit longer. I mean, you got 12 years on your panels and you're still pumping out 94 to 96%. That's insane. Considering a lot of the panels they put on homes only last maybe 5 years and are still pumping out at like 80%, 75, 80% after 5 years. You're doing good, man. You're doing good. You got another, at that rate, you're probably looking at, you're looking at a decrease of only 4 to 6% decrease. Hell, man, you've got at least another 20 years on those panels before you'd really want to replace them, shit, at that rate, yeah, you're looking at 30 years or more. Probably about 30 years before you'd have to worry about those panels if they continue at that rate. I know over time it'll probably go a little faster, so you might get 20, 25 years. Well, probably, 20, 25 years at least, which do you better than 5 years and you need new panels. And that's the thing, these companies are looking at, lock you into a 5-year or a 10-year contract, and then you got to get new panels put on. And by that point, you're already been with them long enough that they're just going to tell you, hey, look, we're going to put new panels up when you just sign for 5 more years and stay with us, or 10 more years and stay with us. And then they'll put the new panels up. They'll get the other federal grants and state stipends, or whatever the hell you want to call it, the grants from the government. They'll put new panels on. It won't cost them hardly anything. They'll probably get the damn panels for free after they get their check from the government. And then they're still charging you, and they're making more money off of you because they got the money from the government for the panels. They're getting the kickbacks on all the money, or all the power you're pushing back into the grid. These companies are hosing people, and nobody sees it. Be back in a few, driving the kids to the park. All right, Down Under. Actually, looking at the time, we'll stream for a little bit longer. I might still be on when you get back, man. Have fun taking the kids to the park. But no, it's one of those, hit or miss things. Like, I shouldn't say it's hit or miss. It's not hit or miss. It's miss or miss. If you're going to do solar and you can afford to do solar, do it yourself. Get all of the benefits for yourself. Don't give them to some other company that's making these false promises. Just get it all for yourself if that's the way you want to go. Me, realistically, I wouldn't put the panels on my house. I would build an array in my backyard. Because if there is some kind of an electrical issue, it won't burn down my damn house. And it also won't cause damage to my roof. And I do have enough space in my backyard. I could put up a decent array, have it pointing south, and go across basically behind my garage, and then just pump it right in. But that's just me. I would rather the panels be in the yard than on the house. If you've got a yard space and you're willing to give up some of that, hell, you lay down a bunch of pea gravel, you mount some posts, you put the panels in, then you don't have to worry about weeds and grass and stuff. The panels just sit there, a nice little pea gravel bath or bed underneath them. And you just mount yourself up a nice array of panels. If they burn up in your yard. They don't burn up on your house. Yep. But again, that's just me. I'm not a smart man. Some might say I'm an idiot. But I do think that that would be a better choice. If you have space, put them on an array, mount it in your backyard on some metal poles with some metal unistrut. Keep it off your house. Your homeowner's insurance shouldn't go up because you're not putting it on your house. That'll save you a little money right there. My parents have a huge backyard. I wish they would have just mounted the array in the backyard instead of on the house. But again, you do have that power loss. The longer the cable is, the more power loss you have. So if you install an extra 2 panels to compensate for the power loss, maybe you'd be all right. I don't know. But my parents' yard is quite large in the back, and if they would have done the array on the brackets in the backyard, or on some unistrut and some metal poles in the backyard, I think it probably wouldn't have dinged them so hard. And with the amount of space they have, they could have had quite a bit going there. They could have put way more panels up if they'd have done that too, so they'd have been kicking back way more power into the grid. But anyway, so what's going on, guys? Who's got questions? Anybody got any questions about anything? Anybody, like, we can do an AMA. Ask me anything. Let's do an AMA. Ask me anything, guys. Ask me questions. No questions? Maybe we will wrap this up a little quicker. I don't know. If anybody's curious, though, like I said, Centauri Carbon number 2 will be here hopefully next week if all works out. It still hasn't been picked up, but hopefully FedEx will pick it up on Monday. It'll get here hopefully by the end of the week. The Micro Swiss Flowtech hot end should be here by Thursday. I think it was Thursday is what it said. I'll double check. Maybe it was Tuesday, Thursday, one of them. So I should have the Flowtech hot end, and then we'll play around with Open Centauri and see how big a pain in the ass that'll be to install on a brand new, almost brand new out of box, because I'll probably fire it up first, do some prints with it, make sure it's printing properly and everything as well, and then we'll rip the hot end out and install the Flowtech, and then we'll do some test prints with that, make sure it's working well. We want to make sure the changes are working well before we do the biggest change, which is flash a new firmware. So we'll make sure everything is working well like it should be, and then we'll flash the Open Centauri firmware and check it out, see how it does. I know some guy posted on one of the Centauri Carbon Facebook groups that he bought the AliExpress multi-material unit and was getting his first print started on his Centauri Carbon running Open Centauri. So who knows? We'll see how that goes. Maybe that'll be something we can make work with, like an enraged rabbit, or the Happy Turtle, sorry, the Happy Turtle lettuce feeder that is sitting back here that we need to put together. Havoc, thank you again for that. And then you can kind of see it sitting right there is the 3MS, multi-material unit that I wanted to put on this guy. So maybe at some point I got to get some M3 some M3 T-nuts to put it on that black bracket back there that I made to sit next to the printer. I had some extrusion laying around, so I made a frame. That way I can just basically set the filaments underneath it. I'm going to get some of the, I'll get some spool holders to put under there, and then we can just put the filaments underneath and feed them in, and then have it just kind of off the tube into the hot end. So, yeah. But hopefully the next stream, unless I stream tomorrow, the next stream will hopefully be unboxing a Centauri Carbon. And we'll unbox it, set it up, and we'll do some prints on it, play around with it a little bit. And then after that, then the stream after that will probably be installing, or we'll do some prints and make sure it works, and then maybe we'll go straight from a couple of prints to installing the Micro Swiss Flowtech hot end on it, all in one stream. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know for sure, but I do know that at least the next stream, if it isn't tomorrow, the next stream should be unboxing the Centauri Carbon and setting it up. And like I said, maybe installing a Micro Swiss Flowtech hot end. I kind of want to install it because nobody else, I haven't seen any in the wild. I haven't seen any videos on it yet. So I kind of want to install it when it gets here. And sadly, I think that printer will be the one I have, and I don't want to mess with that one. I want to leave that as a nice virgin machine running Elegoo stock firmware and all that fun stuff, and then have the second unit kind of be the one I paid for that I tinker with and mess with. So install the Micro Swiss and Open Centauri and all that stuff on it, since it is the one that I did pay for. Ow. My arm is itching. I got to get out of my office. I got to get away from this desk. I think I need to redo this surface with something not wood, because like I said, I've been noticing that I've been breaking out with my arm. You can see it's the way my arms are sitting. That's how I'm breaking out. I sit with my arms like this. It touches that wood, and then I've got this and this going on. And then this I just drug across the edge of the desk because it was itchy. I know, if it itches, don't scratch it. I know, but I don't listen. But gang, thank you for the coming and hanging out. Thanks for the being here. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I am going to wrap this up. Kind of go in. It's 8 p.m. my time. For those of you in other parts of the world, 8 p.m. would be 20. It's 20:04. So that being said, though, I'm going to take off. You guys have fun. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of jail. Happy 3D printing and all the things. And an old printer's better than no printer. Probably going to drop that last part of the line because, yeah. You just saw that I was live. Well, Keela, I'm just getting ready to wrap this up, but it is good to see you, and no need to be sorry, dear. I know you and Jer got a lot going on. I know you guys are always busy, so thank you for at least popping in here at the end to say hi. But yeah, so quick recap since you just got here, but I'm going to leave. But quick recap. I made a poor financial decision. But it was worth it because I needed to splurge on something for me. I bought another Centauri Carbon. Keela, you can let Jeremy know if he would like a Magneto X. I have this big old Magneto X here. Tell him to pack up one of his Vorons and bring it here as a trade, and tell him to come to me. Bring me one of his Vorons. And hey, Jeremy, never mind. You're here as well. So, that being said, if you want a Magneto X, bring me a Voron. You bring me a Voron, and you can have a Magneto X. You got to come to me, though. So, pack up a Voron, 2.4 preferably, 350, 300, 350 would be better. And then you can take that home with you, and you can play with it. You can have fun with it. And then down the road, whenever they actually send me the upgrade kit, I will then get that sent to you, so that you can do the upgrade if you want. It's up to you. There was some upgrades from the original Magneto to the latest and greatest Magnetos, but they're going to send me the parts kit when I get it. I'll send it to you, and then you can do all that. You're right. It is not a bad trade. Print party. But yeah, so I would I would settle for a 300, 350 preferably. Voron 2.4 because tridents are nice, but people who have tridents like their tridents, and that's fine. So if you wanted to convince West to send me a kit, I don't really want to build another printer. I don't really want another project. So if you wanted to convince West to send you a kit and you and Keela build it and then you bring it to me, I will give you that. So there's that option. If you want to make that happen, you let me know. I'll tell the guy that he's got an old Rev 1 2.4, and by old I mean like probably, and it was a 5-set kit. It wasn't even an LDO kit. It was a 5-set kit. But if you can convince West to send you a 300 or a 350 2.4, I won't even be picky. You can pick the colors. You guys can print the parts, build the printer, do all that fun stuff on stream, gives you some content. And then if you guys wanted to come here, pick this thing up, give me my Voron, and then take that big thing home and make a whole video out of delivering Dan's, Voron and picking up our Magneto. If you guys want to make a big video about it when you get here, we can have some fun. Maybe we can stream from here for like an hour before you guys head out. Or, maybe I'll break the rules and I'll actually come visit you guys at your shop. Hang out at your place. I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. Way to make some content and move some printers around. But I'll tell the gentleman that's got the older Voron, I'll be like, hey man, I got a brand new Voron in trade. Sorry. And he'll be like, oh, that sucks. Sorry. And we'll go separate ways. It'll be fine. You want a gold frame, bring it back. Or, oh, you want the gold frame? Yeah. Well, I'm just putting it out there. If you guys would like a Magneto to play with in some way, shape, or form, if you could make something work where you guys could, part with a 300 or a 350 Voron 2.4, because I know Jeremy takes care of this shit, so I know they're good machines, or convince West to send you a kit and then build me one, and then you guys have content for your channel. You can build me a 2.4. I'll get to watch it being built and have fun and get all giddy like a kitty, and then in the end I'll have a nice shiny new or used Voron 2.4. You'll have a Magneto X. It does come with the original build plate that's marred up and scratched up a bit, and a second build plate. I'll even throw in the rolls of filament that they sent me as well. One's PPACF, and the other one is PETGCF. I might keep the PETGCF. For you guys, I'm going to keep the PETGCF. I'll throw in the PPACF. But I didn't make the deal with anybody else, so I'll let you guys have the PPACF since that's kind of its bread and butter. Well, Jeremy, I will break an agreement with someone else if you know where I'm at. You know where I'm at with it. Or you could just give me $850 because that's what I have it on Marketplace for. You can just give me $850. But I mean, or you could, or get on Fabrico, buy 2 of these and ship them to me. And when they arrive, we can figure out how to get those to you. I I like the Centauri Carbon. I would not argue with 2 more of them. And that's an even better deal because you can get 2 Centauri Carbons for like $700. If you order them from Fabrico, you get them for $339 shipped. All right, well then again, see if West 3D is willing to sponsor something. I know it's an ask. I know it's a big ask. I know that. I know it's a really big ask. I understand that, but you know, maybe West will be interested, you know. And you know, they might be interested in helping the channel with some content, and you guys can build a 2.4. Because how long has it been since you actually built a 2.4 on the stream? I know it's been a while. So maybe you know, and you're going to be blasting West 3D. Get it from West 3D. You can get it from West 3D. So you'll be blasting them like crazy. And you guys your channel blew the fuck up, man. You guys are doing great. So your analytics look nice too. So just putting that out there. And your analytics look much better than mine. So, yeah. The Poor Makers Inc. Yeah. Stealth Changer Rebuild. The Inertia. Need done. Yeah, you do. You need to get on those. But Keela, it's a Magneto X. How many other people that you know have a linear drive motor XY 3D printer? You guys could be one of the only ones you know, because Poity is the reason I got that. So we know Poity has one. But you guys could be in that elite group with Poity. Am I selling it here? Is it working? Am I selling it? Did it work? Did it work? Did I sell it? He is the man. So see, you would be in that elite group with Poity. Keela. You would. Did it work? Did I sell it? Did I sell it? Did I make it happen? Is Jeremy currently like pacing around, like thinking, should we do it? Shouldn't we do it? Can we talk? Can we is he pacing, Keela? Is he pacing? Because right now, Keela, you're the one I got to convince, because Jeremy's like, he's like, brain's probably a mile a minute right now. Like, which printer could we part with? Which one could we just get rid of? Which one don't we need? Which one works, but we don't need it? Like, I'm pretty sure Jeremy's probably going through it in his head right now. Like, we don't necessarily have to hit up West. We got some out here. Which one could we take off the shelf and then put this thing in its place? Because like I said, I know you guys take care of your machines, so I wouldn't have a problem saying yes to whichever machine you guys were like, this one. I'd be like, you ain't got to say nothing. Here's my address. Get your asses in the truck and come on out to visit me, you know? And then that big bastard, I'd help Jeremy get it loaded up, because Keela, you ain't going to help him with that until you at least get home. And then he'd probably back right up to the door and just put it on a cart and wheel it to wherever it's going to slide. And then you might have to help lift onto it. That's about it. The 80 or the 85X, huh? Is like 2 or 3 of them? Like 2 of them? I mean, how about the 80X5 and a Centauri Carbon? Got a Centauri Carbon you want to send along too? Just saying. I mean, get rid of one printer, put 2 in its place. I mean, the build volume is going to be a little bit larger with 2 printers, but not one single print. I mean, the build volume on that thing is 300 by 400 by 300, or it's 400 by 300 by 300. So it's got a big build volume. But like I said, it is a finicky printer, you know. Toss in a date night with you and we're even. Well, if you're going to come all the way here to pick this thing up, I mean, the least I could do is, you know, take you to dinner. I'll take you to the nice little restaurant here in town. They have an amazing, like they do their own like uh, what should I say here? Uh, Chicken strips. They hand breaded chicken strips, and I love their cheesy turnover. It's the simplest thing in the world, but it's really good. You know, the rat rig Steven got us play with was huge. Yeah, yeah. The rat rig was what, a 500, wasn't it? Got to wine and dine me. As long as they have Blue Moon on draft, they're good. Well, they don't have Blue Moon on draft, but we can get you a 6 pack of Blue Moons if you want them. I'm not a big drinker, bud, so I don't usually drink, but I'll get you a 6 pack of Blue Moon. I will say this much: my house is not like company ready, but there is a hotel down the road we can set you up with if you guys want to come stay for a night, kind of a thing. We can hang out and put you up in a hotel for the night. I'm sorry, I don't have like a people friendly home. Let's just put it that way. 11 cats and 3 dogs does not make for a very people friendly home. But I would definitely not mind if you guys came to visit. Hell, I'd just have you guys go to the hotel and then just meet you there, and you can follow me back here. Yeah. Yeah, I understand, Miss Keela. Trust me, I understand. Like I said, as much as I love talking to people, I like my own little world. So, but that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. And I stayed a bit longer than I planned to, but that's fine. Jeremy, you got my number. Feel free to call me, like anytime. Like, call me if you really want to work something out. Give me a call. I'm going to wrap this up, and then I got to run to the gas station. So that gives you a hint. I'm not going to be in the house and around family for a little bit. So if you're bored and want to talk, ring me. But all right, gang. Love y'all. Stay out, Joel. Stay out, jail. Happy 3D printing. And I'm not going to say the last part anymore. I'll just say all the things, and I'll talk to you guys later. Hopefully it'll be opening the second Centauri card, but when it gets here, hopefully this week. Later, gang.